Hello YouTubers! Today we're going to be going through LeetCode problem 118, which is Pascal's triangle. So what is Pascal's triangle? Pascal's triangle states, given an integer numRows, return the first numRows of Pascal's triangle. So in Pascal's triangle, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly above it, as shown. So if you take 1 plus 1, you get the 2. You take 2 plus 1, you get the 3. And then you take 3 plus 1, and you get 4. 3 plus 3 is 6, and you can see the pattern there. So if you input numRows to be 5, the output should look like this array of arrays, which is basically just building Pascal's triangle. 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, and so on and so forth. In example 2, numRows is just 1, so it's just going to be the individual 1 there. Let's see how to build this. Okay. So we're given this method called generate, passing in an integer called numRows, and returns a list of integers. So what is a list of integers? The best example I can think of is, let's say you have 5 trash cans in your house. One in the bathroom, one in the bedroom, so on and so forth. And it's trash day, so you have to take the trash cans out to the trash, but you're not going to take each individual trash can out to the trash. You're going to dump the 5 trash cans into the largest trash can and then take that one out. And that's kind of what this is. We're going to end up with 5 individual lists, but we're going to store that in one giant list, which will be a list of lists. So the first thing we need to do is define that return value, which is a list of integers. We're going to call it triangle, and we're going to make that a new array list of integers, instantiate it. So the first thing we're going to do is take care of this first row. So we're going to add a new array list. So in the end, we're going to have 5 array lists for the 5 rows, and we're going to pass that back to triangle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get at index 0, we're going to add a 1. And that's going to be the first row of the triangle. So now we're going to loop through. So I equals 1. I is less than numRows, I plus plus. So now we're going to loop through the remaining 4 rows. So we're going to create a list integer of row, a new array list. So this will be the second row here. And we're also going to do a list integer previous row, which will be triangle get whatever the I is, 1 in this case, minus 1, 0. And then the first thing we're going to do is add a 1, because each of these rows starts with 1 and ends with 1. Now we've done that, so now we're going to loop through each value in the row. Now what we're going to do here, so let's say we're looking at the 3 here. So we're going to get the value of 1 and 2, which will be index 0 and index 1 of the previous row, and that's exactly what this is doing. It's adding those two values together. And then at the very end, we're going to add the 1, and then we're going to add the whole thing to the triangle. And then at the end, we're going to return the triangle. So let's see if the debugger can't explain this a little better. I'll get my little chart here. All right, going through that example 1 in LeetCode. So let's see here. Okay. So we define a list of integers, triangle. And we're going to add a new array list immediately to the triangle because it's only going to have the 1 value, which is 1. So now if we look at triangle, the triangle array list has an array list inside it and integer index 0 value 1. So let's keep going. Now we're going to create a new array list where now we're on to the second row. And the previous row is just going to be the 1 from the first row. First thing we do is add 1. Now if you look at this, the second row we just need because we add a 1 at the beginning and a 1 at the end, we don't have anything in between. So that's why we make j equal to 1. So in this case, j is not less than 1. And so this is just going to bypass this whole thing, and it's going to add 1 to the row, and then finally we'll add it to the triangle. So now if you look at triangle, it's got 2 array lists, and the second array list here, or index 1, has the values 1 and 1. Okay, so now we're on to the third row of the triangle. New array list, and we get the previous row, which is going to be the 1, 1. We're going to add the 1, and now we're going to go through each value here, or we're going to add each value. So basically this is going to take, so j is equal to 1 initially, so 1 minus 1 is 0. So we're going to take this 1, and then j, because j is 1, we're going to take this 1 and this 1, which is index 0 and index 1. We're going to add them together, and that's how we get the 2. And then we're going to add 1 at the end, and add that to the triangle. So if you look here, 3 rows, and this row has the 1, 2, 1. All right, 2 left. New array list. Previous row will be the 1, 2, 1. We're going to add 1, and now we're going to go through this twice. So we're going to add the previous row. So again, we start j with 1, so we're going to do 0 and 1. So 0 is the value 1, and index 1 is the value 2. So it adds 2 plus 1 to get 3. And we're going to go through it again because we got another 3. And then we're going to add 1 at the end, and add that to the triangle. So now the third row here has 1, 3, 3, 1. And then finally, new row, previous row will be the 1, 3, 3, 1, add 1, and now we're going to loop through this 3 times. So this will add the 4, this will add the 6, and then this will add the other 4. Whoops, I did not want to do that. Let's get out of that. All right, and then we're done there. So we're going to add that final row to the triangle. Now if you look at the triangle, it has all 5 rows, and the last row is 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And we're going to return that triangle, and that is it. Now I want to show you what's in the console here. Whoops, helps if I print it out. So this is what's going to get returned back to LeetCode, and you can just see it's just an array of arrays. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. It's basically what we just built, and that's what LeetCode is expecting. So hopefully that helped clear it up a little bit. Let's go run this through LeetCode. If I run the code here, it passes, and we submit it. Look at that. Fastest submission. All right, finally, let's go through the time and space complexity. The time complexity, because we have 2 for loops, it's going to be n squared. So the more rows you have, the more loops we need to do. Same thing for space complexity. 2 loops, larger n means more memory. And that is it. So once again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.